Here we go again with the pumpkin spice.
Yes,
well, it's that time of the year.
I know. I saw the advertising for
It's
it.
that time of the year. Pumpkin
God.
spice.
You know they have pumpkin spice M&Ms now.
I'm going to start selling pumpkin spice magic cards and pumpkin spice comics.
If you don't eat them.
Yeah.
That's all people care about is if it says pumpkin spice in the name.
Batman. Yeah. Are you staying for the party? If I stay, there can be no party. I must be out there in the night, staying vigilant. Wherever a party needs to be saved, I'm there. Wherever there are masks, wherever there's tomfoolery and joy, I'm there. But sometimes I'm not, because I'm out in the night, staying vigilant, watching, lurking, running, jumping, hurtling, sleeping. No, I can't sleep. You sleep. I'm awake. I don't sleep. I don't blink. I am Batman. Happy Halloween.
Some people without brains do an awful lot of talking, don't they?
Oh, you should put that speech on tape.
He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way.
Hello, Chicago. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Got a drink to that?
Welcome to Alternate Reality.
Does anybody do Krispy Kreme?
Yes. The pies are delicious.
Nah, have to.
Krispy Kreme does pies?
Yeah.
Really? When did they start that?
Yeah, it's little snack pies.
Oh, so like the little
you mean like the Hostess things?
Yeah. But they're in a
really?
box. They're in a box. They're not wrapped. But yeah, they can do multiple flavors and they do seasonal ones.
Well, how can they go from donuts to pies? It's like apples and oranges.
Pastry. It's all pastry.
So it's just a donut.
It's a pie. It's a pie with the filling. It's a
Pie crust and filling and
Yeah.
the whole. Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah, bite size. Yeah, in your hand. You tell me, you can't walk past Krispy Kreme, watch them make the donuts and go,
No, I do that with old fashioned donuts on 113th in Michigan.
Beer.
But do they have pumpkin spice donuts?
Yeah, they probably will.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They mix it in with
Do they
the
have
yeast.
do they have pumpkin spice in the hood, or is it just a white thing?
No, it's not.
It's everywhere, man.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, I know, but
It's your neighborhood.
They even
the
got
hood.
pumpkin. The dollar store even got
Chinatown.
pumpkin spice air freshener.
Yeah, Chinatown, everywhere. It's
that's what you
nationwide.
need. You get pumpkin spice egg rolls.
Oh God! Oh man!
No, that would be
Pumpkin spice egg
Oh,
rolls.
that wouldn't work at all. That would.
Your colon will thank you for it.
No, your stomach would make you go.
Pumpkin spice mugu gai pan. Everything's better with pumpkin spice.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
There's no flavor to it.
Especially the alternate reality. Hey, folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to another episode of the alternate reality. I'm being joined today by the one, the only, the Music Man himself, good old Rod Flash. Say hi, Rod.
Hello, pumpkin heads.
Pumpkin heads. Oh, the
Yeah,
pumpkin spice
Pumpkinhead.
people.
We're
are
pumpkin
listening.
heads.
Great horror movie.
And joining him, or joining me,
Yes.
depending on how you look at it,
We're all together.
forming the third corner of the triangle is...
Hey, don't say triangle this week. Don't say it.
Why?
Nah, we don't talk politics here.
You've lost me.
No, we'll explain
Seriously,
it.
you lost me.
We'll explain it after we're done.
Okay, is the third corner of the triangle, which I was just saying, the one, the only, newsman himself,
Yes.
Bo.
Bo,
Say hi, Bo.
how you doing, kids? Ready for
how you
Vegas?
And you've tuned into, as I said, the alternate reality, which is coming to you from Alternate Reality, the greatest little comic book store on the face of the earth, located in the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood. Alternate Reality, where all new comics are always 15% off every day for everyone for the last quarter century. Going all the way back to the very first week that I was open, new comics have always been 15% off. All you got to do is come in, pick them up. And of course, New Comic Wednesday starts at 7 a.m. here at Alternate Reality. So nobody has the new comics out for 15% off earlier than Alternate Reality. Anyway, JR will be on the show at the end of this episode with a review. Stay tuned. This is an all-news update episode of the Alternate Reality. And, of course, when we do news, we do comic book news, media news, wrestling news, and nothing else. And we're going to start off, as always, with comic book news. And we do it in order by the oldest company, which is DC Comics. Bo.
Yes?
Tell me about Batman Damned. I hear you just schlong out. No, we did this already.
No.
We did this already. So why are we doing a Batman Damned story? What else could there possibly be to talk about now that we've talked about the Bat Pole?
Because Jim Lee said that the exposing of the penis was a production error, which was a lie.
Really?
Because they knew it was going to be in there when the book came out.
Did he say it as a joke?
No, he was deadly serious.
Did he say it as a smirk?
No, he said it seriously.
What sort of production error is
He said,
that?
we didn't know.
We put it in there?
We didn't know that was in there because we didn't know. They said, no. Everything was approved. You knew it was in there.
So you're saying somebody on the line drew that in there?
Yeah. Lee Bermejo drew that in there, and they knew it was in there the moment the book was printed, and they knew that it was there, and it wasn't going anywhere. They're trying to act like, we didn't know that was there.
But the book has an editor.
Yeah, and that's why the story fell apart. So here's the bad thing about the whole Batman Damned thing. Remember last time we talked about DC having a new president? You know, they're in a new division?
Yes.
Yeah, they got moved over to the toy division, didn't they?
This just landed in her lap.
Oh, wow.
And so people are on DC a little concerned because now they're going, wait a minute.
They don't know how she feels about Batman.
No. What else are you doing in your comics that we need to look at? And so certain books are being looked at and being regarded as, well, you can't do this and you can't do that. And the other Black Label books, the creators are being told, well, the stuff that we approved, we can't really do that anymore, which is not making them happy at all. And you said Batman Damned 2 is late. You know why it's late?
Well, I just heard today that it was late. It was originally supposed to ship Thanksgiving week.
Yeah.
Why is it late?
Because they have to tweak it to make it more acceptable. Because apparently there were more penises and nakedness in Batman Damned number 2, which is making Brian Azzarello happy. Because he's like, that's not what we agreed to do. We told you what we were going to do, and you knew what we were going to do, and you approved it. What,
put Venus penises and other things in there?
Yeah.
I mean, it says Azzarello.
Yeah, there is stuff in the second issue which apparently were in the same vein of that, and so to speak. And you will never see a reprint of Batman Damned because...
Oh, wait, they said they were going to reprint it, but they were just going to
they changed their mind because Brian Azzarello's contract says you can't touch the art in any way, shape, or form. Which means it has to come out as is or not at all.
So what about the trade paperback?
That's going to be a hurdle they have to jump over.
Well, that's got
because his contract sticks to the trade paperback.
Well, I don't know. Would the contract cover the trade paperback?
Yes, it would cover the entire project. And DC would be in breach of contract if they decided to change his artwork because his contract says you can't change the artwork in any way, shape, or form, which is why Jim Lee's saying it's a production error, is crap. Because they knew exactly what they were getting with Batman Damned number 1.
Well,
that was the point.
You know what it sounds like to me? Yeah. It's time to renegotiate somebody's contract.
Oh!
It's time for a check. It's time for a check to be written to somebody.
I'm quite sure Azzarello goes, I work at Image, and I can always go back and work for Marvel.
Is Jeff Johns sitting up there going?
Yeah, Jeff Johns is going. I told you guys this is what's going on, and Jeff Johns is a Black Label book coming out too.
I've got a feeling Jeff Johns doesn't need to have that stuff in his book.
No, he really don't.
We don't know.
Well, we don't know, but I mean,
we don't know. The problem is the fact that the people who are already signed contracts to work on these books are being told the stuff we said you could do, you can't do it now.
Yeah, but they're just talking about stuff like nakedity.
Yes,
right?
Naked people and violence and sex and stuff like that.
Well, violence. I mean, it's a comic. Are they talking about chainsaws in the face or what?
A Wonder Woman book is supposed to be coming out Black Label, and it's supposed to be an ultra-violent Wonder Woman.
It may not be now.
Oh man, you just ruined Rodney's day.
It might not be now.
You're just looking at Wonder Woman putting her fist through somebody's face.
These books, remember, they're working on those other Black Label books right now. None of those books are done, and so they're getting notes right now. And so as people are going, why am I here? If you tell me what I can't do when you told me I could do it.
So what you're telling me is the new president of DC, who is the woman who's in charge of the toy company, who now has DC as part of her responsibilities, she had problems with all this stuff?
Yes, she did. Because it wasn't something you wanted to break on the day you just got the job. You're supposed to be talking about me getting the job, not the fact you saw Batman's penis.
Yeah.
So it kind of distracts from the whole idea of, I just got the job, this is a big, great, wonderful day for DC. Oh, there was a penis in the book. Well, now I have to explain this.
Does anybody know if this woman realizes the comics aren't what they were in the 1940s, in 1950s? The comics that are coming out today?
I'm quite sure she probably does know that, but, this is DC corporate structure, so
Well, do you have any idea who this woman is and how old she is and all that?
I saw a picture of her. She's got to be in her 40s.
Okay.
I got her name. It's Donna or Diane something. Donna or something. I had her name when I worked on the story. And I see the picture of her. She's a black woman. But yeah, it's not something you want to jump on your lap the first week you are in charge of everything. And so people in DC are going, well, what are we supposed to do? Well, I don't know. Punt.
Well, if she's in charge of the company right now, I mean, Warner's put her in charge.
Yeah.
Dan DiDio was installed in the first place by Warner's.
Yeah.
So he works under her.
Yeah. Well, everyone works under her. Jim Lee and Dan DiDio report to her.
So if she wants to fire Dan DiDio, she
can do whatever she wants. They report to her.
Well, Dan DiDio's in charge of the company.
Yeah. And so is Jim Lee.
Well, Jim Lee. Yeah, but Jim Lee doesn't care.
Well,
Jim Lee eventually just go back to his villa.
Yeah, he lives in Italy. Yeah.
Oh, gee, we're not doing these comics anymore. I guess I have to go back to my villa.
I go back to my villa. Wait a minute. I still have Marvel's number.
See you at the New York City Con next year, guys. See
right.
ya. Bye.
Right. I still got phone numbers.
Okay, moving on. Flashbacks. Bo, give me some flashbacks.
Well, Barry Allen and Iris West are traveling the world right now because Barry's no longer the fastest man alive.
Who is?
Wally's the best.
Oh, you okay?
People will figure that out by now. You're like 4 issues into this thing.
No.
You didn't read it?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like you guys talking about the book I didn't read this week? Oh, okay. Yeah. Good.
Really?
Yeah.
We were.
Yes.
Well, Wally, as in the new, improved African American Wally, right? Not the old orange-haired Wally that everyone loves and worships and was the Flash for 10, 15, 20 years.
And when he disappeared, people went, when's Wally coming back?
And then they brought him back in one of the ugliest goddamn costumes I've ever seen in my life.
What the hell's he wearing? January's going to bring you a Flash annual, which will deal with Heroes in Crisis. And Williamson's working on a Flash Year 1 arc. So you're probably going to get a Year 1 arc for the Flash.
How about that?
Ooh,
took him long. Everyone else has got one. Flash was like, I didn't get one yet. Okay, we'll do one.
Yeah, that's it for the Flash?
That's it for the Flash.
Talking about Wonder Woman, I hear Bendis...
No, not Wonder Woman. Wonder Comics.
Wonder Comics. Okay. I'm sorry, Wonder Comics.
That's his line. It's his teenage line.
Well, is that like Takio?
No.
Remember Takio over
Yeah,
Marvel?
I remember Takio. Takio was a book that appealed to kids. And
he wanted to do a kid's book, so that Marvel let him do
this is a kid's book which will be dealing with DC superheroes. So you're going to have Young Justice. Brian Bendis and Patrick Gleason are doing that one. Connor Kent is in there. Mm-hmm. And apparently a whole bunch of Jonah Hex's great-great-granddaughters in it. And Teen Lantern. Teen Lantern, yes. It'll be a teenage Green Lantern. Naomi, I have no idea who Naomi is. Bendis, David Walker, and Jamal Campbell. The Wonder Twins, Mark Russell and Stephen Byrne. And Dal H. for Hero, Sam Humphries and Joe Quinones.
As in Wonder Twin Powers activated?
As in Wonder Twin Powers
activated. Okay, anybody on the 40 would know who the Wonder Twins are?
People know who the Wonder Twins are.
People know who the Wonder Twins are thanks to the miracle of streaming and DVD.
DVDs.
The Wonder Twins were in the Super Friends.
Yeah. Right.
They will always forever be in the Super Friends.
Perpetually
so if you ever watch Super Friends, at some point you ran across them.
But yeah, this is his brand new line. It's all teenage heroes. These are the first books. I guess there'll be more. He's writing Young Justice and he's co-writing Naomi. And I guess he'll be farming it out to other people. But this is his new line. Teenage heroes. Because Bendis was known for being teenage heroes. Miles Morales,
This is a line like Jinx World?
Yeah. This is a line. It'll say on the top, Wonder Comic.
But it features not his original concepts, but existing DC heroes.
DC heroes.
Okay. So why is DC doing Wonder Comics? They're trying to reach out to a younger age group, but it sounds like a teenage.
Yeah,
teenage age.
Yeah, tweens. They're trying to get the tweens in the younger eyes. They've been trying to do that with a couple of characters, but letting him do it because he's good at writing teenage characters.
Well, no, DC has always kept the kids' book in sort of the animation ghetto over at DC line. I mean, whatever they can ferret out of the animation closets of Warner's, like Looney Tunes, like Scooby-Doo, like anything that they've had on as an animated series based on their characters, like Green Lantern, the animated series, Justice League Unlimited, Batman, the animated series, Superman, the animated series. They've made comics out of, but they've never really busted their hump, except maybe once or twice to do anything outside of that. I remember the Captain Marvel book, the Shazam book, that ran like 18, 20 issues. Art Balthazar had a run at Superman Adventures.
Yeah, he did.
Superman Adventures or Superman Family or something like that.
But these books are not going to be focused for the kid audience. These are going to be focused for just regular comic book people. This isn't a kid's line. It's a regular comics line.
Okay.
It's just another imprint.
Now, this is in continuity, out of continuity?
In continuity.
Really?
So Connor Kent's going to have a beard, apparently. Because people go, we'd like Connor Kent to come back. He's go, okay, I got Connor Kent. In continuity.
Moving on to Marvel news. Uncanny Disassembled. The Uncanny X-Men are coming back, but they are not coming back...
Right away.
Right away, and they are not coming back monthly, right?
Coming back weekly.
Weekly.
10-part weekly series called X-Men Disassembled. The arc will have all the remaining mutants left on Earth to save the world, which could be their final mission, and whoever survives will go on to the regular Uncanny X-Men book, which will probably be happening sometime around the spring. You got 3 writers on this thing: Ed Brisson, Kelly Thompson, Matthew Rosenberg. Mabed Azwar, R.B. Silva, Yildiray Cinder, and Pepe Perez are drawing it. The 3 writers have basically written every issue by themselves, and they said the way they have this laid out, you won't know who wrote what page, but they're all working on the book together. So the Avengers No Surrender thing worked out quite well, so Marvel said, why don't we do this with X-Men?
One of the reasons Avengers No Surrender worked so well is because they were actually doing something, the book.
When this is over with, you'll understand what it means to be a mutant, and you'll understand why, if you are a mutant, you need to be on the X-Men team.
As opposed to just running around free?
As opposed to jumping on and being in another super team. Being an Avenger, or being in the Fantastic Four, or being in the Defenders, or whatever. Since Extermination is not done yet, they can't spoil anything.
Now, does that include Brotherhood of Evil Mutants or something like that?
Include them?
We're talking X-Men team.
X-Men team.
Yeah.
And they've already said that by the thing this is over with, someone's going to die.
Someone's always dying.
Someone's always going to die.
Someone's always.
But it becomes a question.
That doesn't mean
it becomes a question of who are we going to kill this time, and how long are they going to be dead?
Who do we kill this time?
Who do we kill, and how long are they going to be dead? I think Professor X.
Who do we kill?
No, they just brought him back.
Cassandra Nova. You could kill.
I like her.
You could kill all the time displaced X-Men. You could kill all them off. Or you can kill off the older X-Men and have them completely replaced by the kids.
You know what? The whole entire X-Men franchise has sort of lost their soul for the past couple of years since Cyclops has been out of it. So I read the book. Is it still the X-Men?
Because Cyclops is considered by most people in the Marvel Universe as a villain, even though he was not wrong.
That would be Bendis' fault.
Yeah, well, but it's what people look at and go, what he was doing was not wrong. He was doing Magneto without being a jerk about it. But what he was doing was correct. He had the best interest of keeping the team around because he said mutant kind needs to survive.
They need to protect each other.
Right. So, and it works.
Okay. Spider-Verse.
A lot of Spider-Man books coming. Spider-Geddon, which we found out this week, is actually a Miles Morales story. It's not a Peter Parker story. This is a Miles circulated event.
Okay.
You're going to get a couple books out of this. Tom Taylor, who did Injustice, Juan Cabral, who did X-23, are doing Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man in January.
Bringing that thing back.
They're bringing it back. Saladin Ahmed, who guys Exiles, and Javier Garanda doing Miles Morales Spider-Man, so that book will continue on. Shannon Maguire, yes, he's an Irishman, is going to be doing Spider-Gwen Ghost Spider. So she's not Spider-Gwen anymore, she's Ghost Spider. And that Superior Spider-Man one-shot you just picked up, that's an ongoing book now. It was a one-shot, and now it's a regular series.
Why it take them so long to come on going for Superior?
Well, that book is Superior Octopus.
It's Otto Octavius basically means Spider-Man again.
Oh, so he's saying goodbye to the octopus.
He's basically saying, I'm going to have this life over here in the Spider-Man outfit. And it was supposed to be a one-shot, and then they looked at it and said, we could do a series with this because people loved Otto as Spider-Man. Even though he was a jerk, we really liked him as Spider-Man. And so you got like 4 Spider books coming out.
Who would have thought 80 years ago
yes,
that this is where things would come?
Who would have thought?
In the Marvel Universe.
Who'd have thought it?
How about 80 years
ago? That's a segue.
Oh, that's a good segue. That was a good one.
Marvel will be celebrating their 80th year. They've been around. Chip Zdarsky.
That would be their 80th.
That would be their 80th anniversary. Chip Zdarsky is doing an Invader series. The story will take place in World War II in modern day. And it'll have Carlos Magny and Butch Guice. Guice will be doing the stuff taking place in World War II. Magny will be doing the stuff in the present. They're also announcing the return of Marvel Comics Presents, which will have stories with Wolverine, Captain America, and Namor.
Is it going to be a weekly book?
It's going to be a monthly book. At least so far, they just announced it. Charles Soule, Greg Pak, Ann Nocenti, Tom Coker, Paulo Segura are working on the book. And you can do a reprint book called Marvel Tales. They're going to reprint a whole bunch of older Marvel stuff with brand new covers. Yeah, they're going to be pimping the fact this is the 80th anniversary, so you're going to have a lot of one-shots and a lot of big deals, and I guess a lot of spangly covers and a whole bunch of other cute stuff. 80 years.
80 years.
80
My
years.
God.
Wow. Who'd have thunk it? And Stan's still kicking.
You know where Stan hasn't worked?
Where?
Archie. I think Stan has ever worked at Archie.
He's right.
So he's never had a chance to experience the Archie horror line.
No, he has not.
No, he hasn't. But we have.
Which is growing Horror fan Rodney, it's growing.
Really?
It's getting bigger.
Okay, so Jughead's a werewolf.
Yes.
Veronica's a vampire.
Yes.
Of course, Sabrina's Sabrina.
Sabrina's the teenage witch.
Yes.
Apparently, the Netflix trailer dropped this week. Everyone went, wow.
Yes.
Really
cool.
So Archie's going to be Frankenstein?
No. Blossom 666.
Oh my God, she's Satan.
The Blossom twins, sir.
Oh my.
Twins.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the brother.
Jerry
Yeah, the brother.
Yeah.
Well, in the
brother.
Riverdale, he's dead, but in the regular, he's not dead.
He's not.
Cullen Bunn and Laura Braga, which has the twins wanting to be the Antichrist.
I can see that.
They're having a competition. I am. No, you are. No, I am. No, you
I
are.
can see that.
Oh God.
And also Jughead the Hunger versus Vampironica from Frank Thierry, Pat Kennedy, Tim Kennedy, which have the two of them. Vampire, werewolf, face off.
Werewolves always lose against vampires.
Maybe they won't this time. Why would a werewolf lose anyway?
He doesn't think.
But Jughead as a werewolf isn't stupid.
Well, werewolves, I'm not saying that werewolves always lose to vampires, but werewolves become feral animals, basically.
Yeah.
Basically wolves or dogs.
Dogs.
Really
bad dogs.
So they don't have the cognitive ability to plan and think very far into the future beyond I want to rip out your throat right this minute. Vampires, on the other hand, still being human, although undead and damned to hell.
Only coming out
They're basically, though, able to sit down and think ahead and plot and strategize and come up with
They can also shapeshift, too.
Secondly, so do werewolves.
It depends on what definition of a vampire you have. There's a whole bunch of stuff that Stoker said vampires can do, which has been completely and totally forgotten by most people.
So what a great time to bring it back.
So why not?
There you go.
Right.
Speaking of vampires, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Got a new home?
Yeah, what a surprise. I mean, Serenity moved over to Boom, and then Dark Horse had to cancel Buffy.
Yeah, they had to.
So where did anyone think it was going to wind up
So,
at?
Buffy's going to Boom. Joss Whedon will be supervising. Jordi Belair and Dan Moore under the monthly book. We're starting over.
From where?
From the beginning.
Josh Whedon okayed this?
Yeah, and Joss Whedon's supervising the entire line.
So he's starting his own thing over again.
Well, you're already doing the Buffy.
What is the point? I mean, he's already... it's like relaunching Superman, I guess.
You're already doing the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot TV series over at Fox. So what the hell? Why not?
Start over.
Well, are they doing it over at Fox?
Yes, they're still doing it
because Fox is now a Disney property, or will be.
But they can still do it because, and this is a story we'll talk about, anything that's under development from Fox will still go on. Okay. Now, David Boreanaz is at NYCC. People are complaining about the Buffy reboot. He goes, "What are you complaining about? We're all too old to do the show. I work regularly. She's semi-retired. She's got a whole bunch of money. She's still hanging out with her husband, Freddie Prinze. Alison Hannigan never has to work again a day in her life." So, and the other people have had problems being arrested at conventions.
Well, we won't discuss that one.
Really?
Nicholas Brady. He's arrested a couple times.
He's banned.
I never heard.
Yeah, he's banned from conventions.
Charisma Carpenter's still hot.
Yeah, she is for that age.
Yeah, and Alison Denisov hasn't worked since Spike the Angel went off the air because he doesn't need to. He's rich. So yes.
So they still asking for the old original cast to come back.
Yeah, because he had a panel and he goes, "Why are you complaining about this?"
Well, I would imagine the original cast will probably be some cameos.
Oh, probably.
People will show up and poke their head in the door and say hi.
Oh.
So why does Whedon want to reboot his own concept? He's done plenty of other things. He doesn't need to go back to that well.
Because his attitude is, I've already told stories that have taken place after the show was off the air, and so why would I move over to a new company and do what I just did? Why don't I just start over and just try some new things?
That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it don't.
He's collecting a damn check.
I know, but wasn't he supposed to be entrenched in the movie side?
He is. Well, he was supervising the Dark Horse books. You know how much work that involved? Here's the scripts. Look at it. Okay, I like that. Okay, I like that. Okay, do this, do this, do this. That's about as far as his involvement will be. He's not writing any of these books. He's just supervising them.
And getting a check.
He's an executive producer. And Boom, by the way, is also partially owned by 20th Century Fox.
Well, that's why Disney has a share of it. Moving on, Humanoids. What's up with Humanoids?
Superhero universe,
really.
H1. John Cassidy and Mark Waid were hired to supervise this. Actually, they were hired to run the company in the United States. They call it H1 Initiative. It's a new shared universe. You've got Carl Speed McNeil, Yannick Paquette, Phil Briones, Alfua Richardson, Vanessa Del Rey, Dennis Calero, Sean Martinborough, Jock, I love Jock, Mike McCone, Andrea Moody, Derek Robertson, and Alberto Albuquerque. It'll pop up in the summer, 3 ongoing books in limited series. And Humanoids tried this before. Remember they had this big push where they had a bunch of stuff that came out on the racks, regular books. John Cassidy was one of the guys that worked. Did he do I Am Legend or something? So this is them simply going...
Well, that was a comic book initiative, not a superhero initiative.
Well,
it was a comic book initiative.
So they basically said, we're going to jump into the superhero game. They listed the titles of the books. They didn't list who was working on the books. People were like, wait a minute, where did this come from? We weren't expecting this announcement. You just hired Wade and Cassidy this week. What the hell? Is this your plan all along? You're like, yeah, it was kind of our plan all along.
That's it for comic book news. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be hitting media news. You know, folks, there really is no other store that has as many sales as Alternate Reality. Beyond our signature sale of 15% off all new comics, we also have specialized sales peppered throughout the week, month, and year. For example, did you know that every Thursday is Ladies' Day at the store? That's right, ladies. Stop by the store and you'll save 20% off all of your purchases all day long. Ladies from 8 to 80 get a 20% discount on everything all day, every Thursday, only at Alternate Reality.
Hey everyone, good old JR Jim Rutkowski here, asking you to stick around until the end of the podcast when I'll be back with a review of the movie version of everyone's favorite ink blot from outer space, Venom. But for now, it's back to three men whose symbiotes look suspiciously like a Hershey syrup spill: Comic Book Man, Bo, and Rod Flash. Hey guys, don't let your giant tongues get in the way.
And we're back. What is up with, we talked about this before, what is actually up with the Fox Disney deal? Where's it at?
Well, first we heard it would be over in the summertime, but now people are saying, no, we'll be done with this by the end of the year. So some people will not be having a good Christmas because they'll be unemployed.
Well, they're not gonna wait till the first of the year. Right?
No, well, yeah, no. Apparently they said it'll be done
around Christmas.
Around Christmas time or right after Christmas. The paperwork is moving quicker than they thought. I guess he did all the investigations of the money. Everything's clearing out, and so yeah, people will be meetings. Hi, we don't need you. We don't need you. You can stay. You can stay. We don't need. Who are you? We don't need you either.
You know what that means, don't you? End of the fiscal year.
End of the fiscal year.
They want to wrap all this up before the end of the fiscal year.
Yeah, you want to wrap it up. So Disney basically said anything that's already done comes out, which means yes, Dark Phoenix and New Mutants are coming out because they're done.
They redid the trailer for Dark Phoenix, and now it looks more like a horror movie.
It was supposed to have been a horror movie. In fact, Simon Kinberg said, I never gave you a date. I don't know why you said it was coming out then anyway. So, certain divisions of Fox will be around. Fox Spotlight, Fox 2000 will still be going on. Fox is also developing a second Simpsons movie. Finally, you get a Simpsons movie.
Well, Fox is doing this, or Disney wants to do this?
Well,
nobody said a word about what Disney's going to do with Simpsons or Family Guy or any of the animated stuff.
Well, this is all, they're all staying on the network for where they are, but this is all stuff that they're already talking about. Bob's Burgers film's coming. And Family Guy, animation and live action. All this stuff has already been announced, all this stuff's been planned, and so Disney says stuff's going to come out. Certain films will not be affected. The Avatar films will not be affected by the merger. The X-Men Fantastic Four blending in. That's it. We already told you last time that Kevin Feige is in charge of the X-Men films. And he's probably in charge of whatever Fantastic Four films there are that are coming out. But yeah, the merger is going to be done by the end of the year.
But I got a nice check.
I got a hell of a check, but I got fired.
Disney gave me a nice check, but I don't have a job.
Yeah, a nice severance check. Well, you're in Hollywood. You just go down to the studio and get a job. Universal's still hiring. Warner's still hiring. People, they're still there.
Long time ago when we first started talking about this is one less player in the game for people to go to.
Yeah.
So the number of studios that are out there is shorter by one now. Which doesn't sound like a big deal, but there's, how many studios are there to begin with? There's only like 4 or 5.
Yeah, if I was an executive right now getting fired by these people, I would look over and go, well, Amazon, Hulu, and Netflix are all hiring.
Well, there's them too. They aren't technically they aren't networks. They're video rental companies and place that people that sell crap to you.
And you've got a bunch of other brand new streaming services coming out. So these people who got laid off, none of them will not be working for long. If they've got any talent, they'll still be working. There's a lot more options for them to go to now. Streaming has basically opened up a whole bunch of new jobs that were never around like 5-10 years ago.
Jason, everybody's favorite slashing axe murderer.
Not mine. I've never found this film interesting.
What's that? Well, you got a Jason story. What's
I know. Victor Miller. Who was it? 30 years ago?
The last Jason movie?
The first Jason movie.
1979.
Okay, he's the guy. 13th. Okay, yes. He's the guy who wrote the first movie. He now owns the rights to the character.
How do you get the rights?
Because there's a copyright law that says if it's original material, I can put in a claim. And since he wrote it, because they were saying, well, it's work for hire. I said, no, it wasn't work for hire. Even though the Jason films happened because Halloween came out and made a bunch of money, it wasn't work for hire. And so he now owns the domestic rights to Jason.
Well, how did the studio let this slip away from him?
They didn't have a choice. The copyright laws are kind of clear. He put in a claim, and the judge went, well, actually, he's completely within his rights to ask for the copyright for the character.
Couldn't the studio put in a claim?
The studio could put, well, no, because it's his screenplay.
Oh, this is for the screenplay.
Right. And he created the character because he said, well, come up with this thing to do with. Now, there's a catch to this. He owns the rights to a teenage Jason, a kid Jason. The judge said if the studio who owns Jason, which is basically right now no one, because Platinum Dunes dropped it because they're not doing horror movies anymore, they could put in a copyright for an adult Jason.
For adult Jason.
But would you rather see a film from the guy who came up with the character?
Well, since he wears a hockey mask, how can you tell?
Well,
if he's a teenage Jason or an adult Jason.
Well, no, what you could end up with if he did this is that Miller could basically just redo the screenplay he did to begin with and start the whole thing over with. And so you'd have
the origins of Jason.
Right, you'd have a kid Jason and you'd have an adult Jason. And so people would have to go, well, which Jason do I want to see?
Well, I assume that if he gets this thing, he's going to reboot the story one way or the other.
Well, yeah, he just start over.
But, again, he wears a hockey mask. How can you tell if he's a teenager or if he's an adult?
Well, he'd be taller, we assume.
Oh, for God's sake.
Well, according to the second one, the whole scene where the girl was in the boat, it was the teenage Jason that pulled her up out of there.
Okay, so yeah.
Mr. went out, and I guess he stayed in the background for such a long time. Mm-hmm. Well, this is not a spoiler. The mother was the killer.
Yeah.
And she got her head chopped off.
Bessie Palmer was the original Jason.
She was the killer. And she gets her head chopped off, and Jason has her head as a shrine somewhere in the barn, and everybody that goes to Camp Crystal Lake meets the end as by the adult Jason.
What's interesting about this is the fact that since he was able to do this and win the rights to the character, there are other characters that have been around that long that the writers can do the same thing.
Like Freddy?
Like Freddy.
So John Carpenter can get back the rights to Freddy then.
I don't think John Carpenter's getting anything back.
No,
Wes Craven. I'm sorry. I'm in Craven.
Yeah, he's dead, right?
Yeah.
So is John Carpenter.
No, he's alive.
No, Carpenter's
he's alive. He's working.
I thought John Carpenter was dead.
No, that was Craven. Craven passed away.
Carpenter popped up the Halloween.
He's in the Halloween. Yeah,
he worked on the screenplay, and he's working. And he's the executive consultant for the Big Trouble in Little China film. The Rock's going to be in. The Pork Chop Express.
Oh man,
it's not. It's apparently a follow-up. So. Freddy was interesting. Jason, I was like, who cares?
I'll be honest with you, I've never found any of them very interesting at all. But Freddy has more of a story about him.
Yeah.
Because you can do more with him, because he comes out of dreams and nightmares. Right. So just by that fact, there are many more avenues you can go down with him than just a big crazy guy with a hockey mask and has a machete hacking
people up. Yeah.
7 feet tall that can appear out of nowhere and kill you.
Yeah, it's like, okay, really?
I know that they've made like 10,000 Jason movies, but I never thought for a moment there was anything mystical about him. Like he actually appears out of nowhere. Like he can teleport from place to place. Him appearing out of nowhere, there's always people just not paying attention.
Well, yeah.
Hi, I'm here.
It's like, how do you miss him? He's like 7 feet tall. Really dirty coveralls.
But he's very quiet.
Quite sure.
Now, really, they came up with this stupid idea of the whispers. And you keep hearing, that's Jason talking.
Really?
I found that out from the last movie, unfortunately.
What did he say?
No, he just goes,
Why does he say that?
Kill. I don't know. That's all he says, Jason kills.
Well, you're the horror guy. I just found Jason. I found Jason boring as hell.
And this is why I don't really care about it.
I know.
There's no real story to it.
It's not.
The only high point to Jason, the first one wasn't Kevin Bacon in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the only thing I care about.
7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, see? Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Star Wars on TV. It's
streaming.
Disney's new streaming service.
Which apparently still doesn't have a name, although it's probably going to be Disney Play, like we talked about.
And it's being headed up by
Jon Favreau.
No, Jon Favreau.
And it's called The Mandalorian.
Yeah, I heard that, Mandalorian.
Which is where Boba and Jango Fett come from.
Boy, they really love that Boba Fett, don't they?
Everyone loves Boba. The show will be set between the fall of the Empire and before the First Order. Season 1 will be 8 episodes long. Dave Filoni and Alan Taylor, who directed a bunch of Game of Thrones episodes, are directing 2 of those 4. Game of Thrones' Pedro Pascal is going to play the lead, which is going to be someone who from the planet Mandalore out doing stuff. And there are a bunch of rumors about other directors. Taika Waititi and a bunch of other people. And yeah, this will probably be the first big new thing from the streaming service, which is launching sometime next year because they haven't started production on these things yet. They got scripts, they hired the directors, but they haven't cast it yet. But yes, The Mandalorian.
So the streaming service starts
probably this summer, fall. They could start it without, but you got to get people to carry it. For one, you can just run stuff that's not brand new. But if you're expecting brand new stuff, well, you know, this is the first brand new thing they're announcing. And they said, by the way, this is not the only Star Wars TV show coming up. ABC is going to get a Star Wars TV show. It's just a matter of time.
What are they waiting for?
To get it together. Kevin Smith was going to do one, and then so was George Lucas going to do one. They never got them together.
Lucas
was going to do a Star Wars TV show. He never got it together.
Oh.
I thought Kevin Smith was hitching his wagon to Warner's right now.
He is, but he's also a huge Star Wars geek.
Yeah. Who isn't? Me.
See, here you go.
Okay, moving on.
Have you seen the train wreck that is Lethal Weapon season 3?
Yes, I've heard about it, and I've heard that Damon Wayans is leaving the show.
Yeah,
but here's the thing: isn't the show only got one season anyway left? Isn't it sort of like Gotham? It was coming out this season. They ordered with the expectation of it ending this season.
No, they weren't planning on ending it. They only ordered 13 episodes because the Fox people were upset that Clayton Crawford got fired. No, I accidentally, because it was on my DVR and I didn't erase it yet, I accidentally watched the first episode with Sean William Scott. His character's not annoying.
Well, that's always a plus.
I mean, his character actually works out quite fine, and Wayans in that episode wasn't acting like a clown. Is this the same guy I was looking at last year? So he announced on the radio, I'm leaving the show. I'm going to finish shooting at the end of December. I'm doing 13 episodes and I'm leaving, so to give you time to replace me with someone else. And he uses the excuse for leaving. I'm old, and I've got diabetes, and I don't want to work a 16-hour day, and I'm missing my family, and I'm not having fun.
You know what Fox is finna say? You know what? Don't call us no more.
Well, there's a way to save the show.
Yeah, just
kill them off.
Reboot it.
No.
Start it over from the beginning.
Martin Riggs didn't die. Clayton Crawford comes back. Fox will be like, let's go. And you just have someone else play Roger Murtaugh. Because Crawford, now, people are going, you weren't the reason, were you?
He's good.
It was him.
No,
it was him all along. It wasn't you. It was him.
I think by this point, the show is irredeemable. You pretty much just have to give it a mercy.
Well, I just accidentally watched the first episode and then went, okay, I don't hate it, but then I deleted it from my DVR listing right after that.
You know what got me about this is it wasn't Lethal Weapon. It was looking more and more like The Last Boy Scout.
Yeah.
And everybody kept saying, okay, you were funny in The Last Boy Scout, but we was watching because of Bruce Willis.
Right.
You was sort of the annoying guy in The Last Boy Scout, but we was watching for that. And you go look at Lethal Weapon on TV and go, oh, we see why Damon Wayans hasn't been on TV in a while.
Has anyone given Damon Wayans the message that he's not like leading man material?
Well, he's not.
Well, ABC, Fox
ABC,
twice.
I mean, has he gotten the heads up yet on that? Because he's acting like he is.
Well, like I said, the show's called Lethal Weapon. Who's the Lethal Weapon? It's Martin Riggs. Yeah. It's not Murtaugh. It's Riggs. That's the show. It's not the Roger Murtaugh show. It's the Lethal Weapon show. It's the crazy guy with a suicide death wish.
You know those TV executives when they should sit back and go, you know what? Nobody's watching this movie because of Danny Glover. They're watching it because of Gibson. Yes.
People watch the film. People went into the thing because of Mel Gibson. And people remember the film because of the fight at the end where he's out there on the lawn beating the crap out of Gary Busey. And a whole bunch of the lines he has in the thing. That's why this franchise took off. Because at that point, Mel Gibson was the guy who was working and Danny Glover was the guy who was working. But that film came out and people went, wow, this is kind of interesting. It's violent, it's entertaining, and this character is really interesting. He's got a death wish, which we pick up right away, but he's stuck with this old guy who's retiring, and that's the cliche. I'm going to take the young guy with the guy who's retiring, and you get the whole line. I'm getting too old for this.
Right. Streets of San Francisco, updated version.
Yeah. People didn't watch because of Carl Malden, they watched because of Michael Douglas.
Well, no, Streets of San Francisco depended on who was watching. There was an audience for Carl Malden, and there was an audience for Michael Douglas. The two audiences came together, and that's what kept that show going.
And then you were able to replace him with Richard Hatch. We like Richard Hatch too, so we're going to keep watching the show. So you had an older actor and you had a younger actor, and so the younger people watched it with the younger guy, and the older people went, "Oh yeah, I remember him."
Yeah, but nobody's watching Lethal Weapon for.
No. Apparently,
Damon Wayans is
apparently the ratings for the first episode were decent. They were like on par, but a lot of that was people just trying it out and seeing what it was like. They did a nice thing treating Martin Riggs died. This is a horrible thing. I really miss him. This is the episode wasn't horrible, but I had no reason to watch it after that episode. Yes.
Venom. Oh, I hear it's wonderful. I hear it's just an absolutely great film.
The reviews have been
not a train wreck at all.
Underwhelming. However, the film's making a crap load of money.
Well, it's Venom.
So yeah. Well, no, most films make all the money in the first weekend. You're at the beginning of the fall movie season.
So what is the confusion?
Well, first it's PG-13, so people thought, well, wasn't it supposed to be rated R? And he went, no, it wasn't going to be rated R because we couldn't put Spider-Man in the film if we made it rated R, even though Tom Holland's not in the thing. Also, Ruben Fleischer and Riz Ahmed and Tom Hardy said there's about 30 to 40 minutes that are on the cutting room floor that are gone.
Special edition.
Well, there was a rumor there'd be a director's cut, but Hardy said, yeah, some of my best stuff wasn't in the film. One day after this, he said,
I know.
Everything about the film was fine. This is exactly what I wanted. It's like, dude, everyone knows there's like 30 to 40 minutes that were cut out of the thing because it was supposed to be R-rated. Even though you were trying to be an R-rated film, you cut R-rated stuff. So it's like, what is it? Is it supposed to be this?
So is there going to be an R-rated cut just like Deadpool that has a PG-13
Yeah, Deadpool's getting a PG-13 cut, which apparently Ryan Reynolds said, let's see if I can do this. That's a Ryan Reynolds production. I'm going to do this and see if I can get it out. In the theaters, probably not. On video, yeah, but willing to bet.
And our last story for media is Jamie Foxx's
Spawn.
I already don't care.
Although he won't say a word.
What's the point?
Well, Tom McFarlane's directing this thing.
Again, what's the point?
The budget's small, $10 to $12 million.
But it's gonna be great.
Yeah, he basically said
10 to 12 million for Spawn.
Spawn, yeah.
You don't need a lot of money for Spawn. Spawn sells himself, baby.
Spawn will be. Remember Jaws? How many times did you see Bruce the Shark? How many times did you actually see the shark in Jaws?
Not till the end.
Not towards the end.
But and when you saw him, how much did you actually see?
Just the head.
Just the head. Okay. In this one, Spawn will basically be the supporting character. The lead character will be Sam from Sam and Twitch, who's played by Jeremy Renner.
So it's a Sam and Twitch show.
It's a Sam and Twitch show.
With the special guest stars.
Well, no. The Twitch apparently is not in this thing.
Oh, even better.
We just know Sam's in it. But yeah, he was an urban legend. He'll be coming out of the shadows, and he won't say a word. Spawn will be quiet.
Oh,
He'll be
man.
Jason.
And Jamie Foxx is signing up for...
Jamie Foxx wants to play Spawn.
Oh, he wants to...
And he talked to Todd McFarlane, and Todd went, that's fine with me. And he said, I'll take the job.
That's fine with me, although please be aware that you'll have like almost no dialogue.
And he's like,
wearing a mask, and we can basically get Dave Prowse to do this.
And he's like, that's fine with me. I'm fine with it. And so, yes, he's Spawn.
So he's going to be hamburger face and not say nothing.
No lines. He has no dialogue whatsoever.
Oh, man.
Is Martin Sheen going to be in it?
Please, no. Please,
well,
no.
then I have absolutely no interest in it whatsoever.
I know. If Martin Sheen's not in it,
Charlie Sheen?
No, Martin, not Charlie.
John Leguizamo?
As the clown returns.
Yeah, is the clown going to be in it?
Yeah, we don't
John
know.
Leguizamo?
It could be.
A $12 million budget? I doubt it.
What is check over $9 million?
How expensive do you think John Leguizamo is? He doesn't make that much money.
How much does it cost to do an episode of Supergirl? Or a couple episodes of Supergirl? Because you're basically talking about $3 million an episode. This is a $12 million movie.
But that's because you're shooting it in Vancouver. Which means you're paying
and they're not going to shoot Spawn in Vancouver.
I
would imagine they shoot Spawn in the dark hole of Calcutta if they thought they could save. They thought they could save some money, cut some corners.
They're going to shoot somewhere.
Oh, he's doing it just to get away from the labor laws. I tell you, that's $10 million right there.
So this is basically going to have the look of the CW crossover episode, where everybody gets together.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And it's a theatrical movie.
Yes.
Who's going to pay for that?
You know, people still give a crap about the first film, which I thought was a total piece of crap.
Oh.
And I never sat through that thing more than 5 minutes ago. This sucks.
Bo, there are folks out there that love that Spawn movie the same way there are folks out there who are sure that the Snyder cut of Justice League is coming out.
Let it go.
No, there are people out there that love the Spawn movie in exactly the same way, and they're probably just as big a group.
Oh,
There's a guy, there's a Facebook friend of mine who talks about that Snyder cut every
I know.
he gets. And I go, dude, it's never going to happen.
Oh,
he goes,
man.
yes, and well, I'm like, dude, I admire your passion, but it's never going to happen.
I think he's jerking you around.
Well, no. And, well, he's also a big Star Trek Discovery fan. He's a big Star Trek fan. He posts a lot of Star Trek stuff, too.
Oh,
but yeah, he's a huge...
It's not happening.
No, it's not.
That universe no longer exists.
Okay, that's it for media news. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, it'll be time for Ding Ding Wrestling News. Every Sunday is super at Alternate Reality with our Super Sunday Sale. Each Sunday we pick a different character, family, or publisher, and we discount all of their comics and trade paperbacks 25% off all day long. What we pick for the sale is different each week, but each Sunday you'll save 25% off. And that's all day long, all day Sunday, only at Alternate Reality. And we're back. What's up with Rey Mysterio? I hear he got a job.
He's back.
God bless him.
He's back.
Is he taller?
No, he did that grow. A taller Rey Mysterio would be... What would be the gimmick if he was tall?
Yeah, really. I mean, the fact that he's short is the gimmick.
Right.
And 6'19".
So he signed a 2-year deal, which he can leave after 18 months if he wants to. The WWE wanted a 3-year deal. I said, no. I'll go with 2. I don't want to go 3. I'm old. My knees are messed up. I'm not going to wrestle a full schedule. I don't want to overtax myself. And so he's finished up all his independent dates, and I'm assuming he'll be popping up Royal Rumble, January?
He could be one of the 30?
He was one of the 30 before. He popped up at the last Rumble.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he also did the Saudi Arabia show. What the hell was that thing called?
The greatest...
the greatest Royal Rumble. Yeah, he did
the greatest Royal Rumble.
He also did All In, and they were like, we'd rather you didn't All In. He said, I'm doing All In because Cody asked me to do it. I'm going to do it. The man with the mask is back. By the way, speaking of mask guys, Neville, he's wrestling again. He wrestled.
Where's he at?
Dragon Gate. He came from Dragon Gate. He wrestled as Neville because he owns the name. It's his. So he made his first wrestling appearance.
Well, isn't that his name?
That was his name. Yeah.
No, I mean, isn't that his name?
Well, no. When he wrestled before, he was Pac. P-A-C.
Like X-Pac?
Well, yeah, that's where he got the inspiration from. And apparently...
he really needs to go better places for inspiration.
Yeah, it's true. There are people out there that actually have an appreciation for what Sean Moltmann did because he was a smaller guy who did stuff, that smaller guys are not supposed to do, and he got some big stuff. And Big Cass wrestled his first show under the name Big C.
Yeah, you keep working that.
He didn't beat no women up in this one.
No, he didn't. No.
Okay.
No. He didn't. No.
Well, no, that was
It wasn't
that
a
was
woman.
Enzo.
It was
Enzo.
a midget.
That was Enzo.
The story was that him and Carmella got into a fight backstage, and he grabbed her by her hair and dragged her, and Randy Orton intervened.
That could have been the case too.
And
there were a couple other things.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't Enzo the one who was accused of?
Enzo was the one accused of assault, and by the way, Enzo said, "I'm not wrestling anymore. I'm going to be a rapper."
Whatever.
Okay.
The real one is real.
I'm not wrestling anymore. I'm sticking forks in light sockets.
Yeah.
That's my new job.
Yeah, and people said, well, are the two of you get back on the indie circuit? And they said, no, because the two of them basically stopped being friends like about 6 months before Enzo got fired.
Now, that is sad. That is sad. I remember watching one of those on the roads with the two of them, and they seemed like best buddies.
They were.
That is sad.
But Enzo became more interested in making money than doing any wrestling, and Cass was basically being a twit from time to time. And he said, we said before, I know where I got fired. I got fired because I did a bunch of stuff I should have done. I apologize. At some point, he might come back. They all come back eventually.
Okay, our final wrestling story involves the police blotter
trial. Well,
what's going on?
Judge Vanessa Bryant, Connecticut, threw out all the Constantine Kairos-led concussions lawsuits against the WWE. There were 55 wrestlers involving Vito LaGrasso, Big Vito, who said, I got a concussion while working for the WWE. And they go, no, you got a concussion when you were working for ECW before you got here. Joe Laurinaitis, Animal, Paul Orndorff, Jimmy Snuka, and a bunch of others. The judge basically said, look, you come in with these complaints, and you need to rewrite them. Kairos would rewrite them and hand them back in, and she'd go,
it's the same as
this is the same things I just told you to fix last time. Why do you keep giving me this stuff?
Don't they have a lawyer?
He was their lawyer.
Oh.
he was
not a very good lawyer.
Oh, not a very good lawyer. The other problem is people who were involved in this lawsuit either hadn't worked for the WWE in years, and you waited longer than 5 years to file the lawsuit.
There's statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations. You're wasting my time, so get out of my courtroom. And he's like, this is wrong, this is evil. And they're like, yeah, but it's maybe wrong and evil, but your case was horrible. You had guys who had concussions before saying, I got a concussion working for the WWE. You had a concussion already.
Yeah, but see, the thing about that is when a judge tells you to do something,
do it right.
Do it. 9 times out of 10, the judge is looking out for the underdog.
Yeah.
Look, you need to go back and rewrite this because this doesn't belong here. And you bring it back the exact same way.
Basically the same thing.
I bet you he probably just changed the date on it and just stuck it back in there.
He moved a couple words around and she went, this is the same complaint you filed before. Fix this. Feel like Balls Mahoney was part of the suit. Paul Mahoney was getting hit in the head with chairs long before he got to the WWE.
I think his first match he got hit in the head with a chair.
But when he was wrestling on the independent circuit, he was getting whacked in the head every single match.
Candlestick, chairs?
Everything. Like, how do you sue me for getting a concussion when you were coming in?
It's like New Jack coming in trying to sue.
Yeah, with chair marks in your head already. What? Really?
So the WWE, okay.
So any idea what they're going to do now? You said it was like 50 of them, right?
Yeah.
The odds are that there's got to be 1 or 2 of them in there that actually do have a claim. They're going to go out and get a lawyer themselves?
They'll probably go out and get another lawyer, yeah. Well, a lot of these guys had done these lawsuits individually, and this guy basically wrapped them up into one big suit. They have their own things going on. Some of these guys could, but if you go back to court and go, you sued for this already, and you lost.
Who's representing Jimmy Snuka?
Kairos.
Okay.
What are you going to go back with? You go, well, you already lost this case.
He could have won it because they said they did an autopsy on his brain and said.
They did an autopsy on a lot of people's brains. The problem with Snuka is Snuka was either suffering from dementia or he wasn't, depending on what trial it was. If you're going to bring me into court for killing my girlfriend, I'm demented.
I'm demented.
Issues.
Yeah, I have issues.
But if you're for something else, he's just fine.
Oh.
Yes, he went back and forth depending on the trial. That's why he ended up getting convicted, because they go, no, you're faking. There's nothing wrong with you. You may have taken a couple shots to the head, but now you're faking. You're acting like you don't know where you live. You can't find your keys. You don't know where the bathroom is. And
how can they determine that from a concussion?
Because I guess people would say, well, he was just over there. He was at a convention.
Okay.
And there was nothing wrong with
him.
He
was absolutely lucid.
Yeah, he was lucid. And everything was fine. And all of a sudden, he's walking around the courtroom going, I can't find my keys. I'm blind. I don't know where I'm going. And they're like, but you were at a convention day before yesterday, and you were just fine. Yeah, so these guys are screwed.
That's messed up because concussion's nothing to play with. I've had one. It's not a good feeling.
You still have it?
You always have a concussion after the first one.
Well, sometimes it
just don't do 3 or 4.
Sometimes it sounds like you're talking in the middle.
Once you've had
wrestling.
Yeah, once you've had one, you can't get them again. Yeah.
Okay, that's it. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, JR will be here with a review of...
I have a parasite. Yeah.
Located at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood, Alternate Reality is the only brick-and-mortar store that discounts all new comics 15% off every day for everyone, and that's been since 1994. And all brand-new first issues are discounted at 25% off every new Comic Wednesday. So stop on down and save some money. And we're back.
Hey everybody, it's good old JR, Jim Rutkowski, back with another film review, and this time it's everybody's favorite ooey gooey, rich and chewy symbiote from outer space, Venom.
I'm Eddie Brock. I'm a reporter. I always seem to find myself questioning something the government may not be looking at. I found something really bad. And I have been taken. What do you want from me?
You'll find out.
What the hell are you?
We are Venom.
Venom represents the final result of a long-standing attempt by Sony Pictures to give the popular Spider-Man villain his own film. Influenced equally by the comic books and the Deadpool movies, Venom falls pretty short of the high bar set this year by the likes of, the Deadpool sequel and Black Panther, and even Avengers Infinity War. With its short length and jokey tone, the movie feels more like a second-rate knockoff than a legitimate attempt to start a franchise for the Jekyll and Hyde symbiotic character. To the extent that Venom works, it's as a comedy, not an action-adventure superhero film. Now, when we last saw Venom, he was getting lost in the macabre mess that was Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 3. It's taken 11 years for this reboot to get off the ground, with Topher Grace being ably replaced by Tom Hardy, whose comic book cred includes having played Bane in The Dark Knight Rises. Hardy takes over the role of reporter Eddie Brock, who's relocated from New York City to San Francisco. Now, the movie's light on Spider-Man references. Actually, there's none at all, but there is a Superman call-out when Kryptonite is mentioned, which may very well be the first time that a DC reference has been made in a Marvel movie. Now, this is far from Hardy's most impressive performance, but since he says he took the role for his son, any lack of depth and passion can be forgiven. Now, the director here, Ruben Fleischer, who made a wonderful film a few years ago called Zombieland, originally intended for Venom to be R-rated, and that would seem to be the appropriate rating for a movie about a dark anti-hero who likes to eat people's heads. And keeping in mind a possible crossover with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Sony opted for a PG-13 rating, which required significant cutting and realigning of shots to imply massive carnage without actually showing it, at least not graphically. It feels more than a little dishonest, but that's not the only problem with the film's look and tone, both of which are way off. The movie looks tawdry with some pretty unconvincing and silly CGI. There's times when Venom looks more like a clown than he does a monster. The short length, which is likely the result of some overzealous editing, not only opens up plot holes, but dilutes any sense of epic proportions. Venom feels more like an afterthought, a promising idea gone wrong somewhere along the way. Yeah, it's good for a few laughs. The alien creature's thoughts, which we hear, are filled with some good one-liners, and there's moments of slapstick, which are as unexpected and welcome. The movie takes a good half an hour, about a third of its running length, to get off the ground as it puts all the players in place. There's Eddie, the reporter, who goes too far in pursuing one of his stories. There's Riz Ahmed's Carlton Drake, who's really a standard-issue Lex Luthor wannabe with an ego to match his fortune and a desire to ignore ethical considerations when doing scientific experiments. Eddie briefly has a fiancée named Anne, played by the wonderful Michelle Williams, who dumps him when he breaches her trust and gets her fired. Finally, there's the Venom creature, an alien entity brought to Earth and trapped in Drake's lab until one of the billionaire's underlings, played by Jenny Slate, grows a conscience and sneaks Eddie in so he can do a story. Things get out of hand, Eddie gets too close to the alien, symbiosis occurs, and voila, Venom is born. Now, to start with, there's an intriguing Jekyll and Hyde interplay between straight man Eddie and stand-up comedian Venom as the two trade barbs with the former's mind. Eventually, though, the filmmakers decide this isn't interesting enough, so they give Venom a more tangible presence, evolving him from extensions of Eddie to his own partially independent entity. There's scenes in which he completely takes over, providing a hulking look for the smaller human, causing me to wonder about things like where all that extra matter is coming from. But most of the action scenes are perfunctory, and a big special effects battle at the end, now come on, you knew that was coming, that's not a spoiler, is a bit of an anticlimax, especially since it seems so poorly animated. Although Venom is forgettable and insignificant, it's not really deserving of scorn or derision. The movie's over quickly enough, and it doesn't cross the pain threshold at any time. Nothing that lingers in the mind for too long, and it offers a few laughs. And those laughs are intentional for the most part. It's a decent distraction. It's just not an especially good superhero movie, and it wastes its intriguing premise. Done right, Venom could have been a really delicious, conflicted character. Done wrong, we get what the movie gives us, a cartoonish entity who can only unleash its basic instincts on bad people. Now, there's a mid-credits ending sequence here that contains a cameo that offers a glimpse of where a potential Venom franchise could be headed. Is it going to get there? Hard to say. The box office always rules, but it looks good at this point. Doing very well, but there's little in this first installment to get me excited about a return trip. Nothing wrong with superheroes existing outside the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but I hope that future filmmakers considering doing this sort of thing will opt for something less cheap, cheesy, and generally satisfying as the one this director and his creative team have produced. I give Venom 2 stars. That's it for this time. Come back next time for another movie review. Talk to you then.
Okay, and that'll wrap it up for us. We're done to finish her out here. We got no more show. Be sure to go to the store's website, though, myalternatereality.com, where you can find all of Bo's news. You can find all of JR and Vito Carly's reviews. You can find out all about shipping and all the other things that you ever want to know about Alternate Reality, the comic book store, myalternatereality.com. And until next time, Rod.
Yes, hello, goodbye.
We're saying goodbye right
goodbye,
now. Hello.
Rod. Hello, goodbye.
Hello,
it's
goodbye.
A Beatles song. Hello, goodbye.
Yeah, you covered that real well, Rod. Nobody noticed at all. Bo?
I don't know why. So long, kids.
Yeah, so long, kids. You open it with hi, kids, and you end it with so long, kids.
Hey, we're all kids.
Ray Rayner used to do that.
See?
No, what Ray Rayner used to say was bye, goodbye, goodbye, bye. Thanks a lot for listening. If you enjoyed this show, please like and share it with all your friends. We've value your feedback, so drop us a question, comment, show idea, or complaint either at arcomics@msn.com or, if provided, in the comments section down below on this platform. The opinions expressed in this episode are solely those of the individuals and not necessarily those of Alternate Reality Incorporated. This show is, as always, coming to you from the Alternate Reality Comic Shop, located in the heart of beautiful downtown Mount Greenwood at the intersection of 111th and Kedzie, serving Chicago comics fandom since 1994.
Elvis has left the building.